So everyone's lying about who's coming in and who people want. Nobody knows. So if you want a player, right, the Lions want a player, they got to go get him at 3. If they really want somebody, you're not going to wait till he falls in your lap, unless that's what how the Lions want to play it. Like, if the Lions are interested in dropping back, they'll stay at 6. But if they love somebody, they'll go get them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that,
absolutely.
you just have to, because we're there. Like, I mean, we're not going to be here again. I really don't think we'll be here again for a while, I hope.
Not with our own pick.
That's what I'm saying, right? So,
yeah, no, I feel you on that one. All right, so changing gears a little bit, but still kind of staying related to the draft. So there was some pretty big news in the NFL world today, being that Jalen Carter got a new contract. Lots of money. I can't even remember like the total on it. I think it like totaled out to like 255 million or something like that.
5-year
contract.
Yeah, 5-year.
Yeah, 5-year contract extension. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money up front. Apparently it's pretty backloaded based off of like what the contract breakdown ended up looking like. Yeah, actually I have the details of it right now. So 255 million extension. So this year he will make 6.15 million. Next year he'll make 13.56 million. 2025 21.77 million, and then 2026 31.77 million. So pretty heavily backloaded.
I'm curious about the injury clauses in there too.
Oh, I'm sure there are some. I mean, it also has a no trade clause, so they can't trade him. So they're kind of stuck with this contract, but and obviously they had to backload this contract the way they did because they have a lot of money tied into their offensive and defensive lines. And that's interesting because the Lions are kind of in a similar situation where a lot of money is, or at least will soon be allocated to that offensive line. But yet Jared Goff is also going to be coming up in need of a contract extension relatively soon. And so when seeing this, the first thing I thought was like, okay, do you think this contract is going to have any impact on how the Lions go about the draft?
No.
Tell me more.
I don't. I think they have a plan to replace Jared Goff. I don't know what that is, but they have a plan. So I just don't think that Goff. I really don't think Goff is long term. I think Goff is now. Mm-hmm. I do think that they're looking at a quarterback this year, right? During our mock draft, the Hendon Hooker thing, you know.
Yeah, we took Hendon Hooker in the
second. Yeah, early second. And so, yeah, like, I think that they're aware of that and the situation that we have now, let alone this deal. Like this to me affects Lamar more, right? Like that. This is more
absolutely.
of a, right. But for us, the Goff thing. I mean, I think that they have ideas in mind to back up Goff, to get. I mean, yes. I mean, this affects everybody, right? Now we're just closer with Goff's end of his contract, so. I don't think it changes and it should not change our draft attitude. I think that we need to address who we need to address to get this team better, because we'll deal with Goff when we have to deal with Goff, right? The right now is the draft for next season to win. I think that is the priority. I think that is the right way to approach it. I think that's how they'll approach it. Sure, does this have a flag that we need to have? Okay, we got to think about this now. Yes, for sure. It's the back of our heads. Yes. Okay. Do we need to start really figuring out a plan to replace him if we're going to? Yes.
Yeah.
Which to me is great. I like that because I want to move on. And so I just don't think now. Okay. I don't think this affects the draft unless they were debating going up to 3 to get somebody. Okay, because we don't know this. Okay. So if they were debating, if they were like, I don't know, we don't know if we're going to go up and get Richardson or whoever, if they were on the fence, then yes, it would push them over the fence. So then I guess what I'm saying is yes, it would, but with that caveat that we don't know. Like, we don't know. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a tough question to answer.
Yeah, no, I would say that I think it does. and not, but like not drastically. I think that's kind of what you're saying. Like I think it impacts their draft strategy, just not in a very drastic way, because wherever quarterback fell on their list of priorities, I think if especially if it's on their list of priorities, I think it just highlights it even more, because I think it tells you and it signals to you, okay, this is what Jalen Hurts just got. Lamar Jackson's getting paid. I don't know if it's going to be by Baltimore. I don't know if it's going to be by somebody else, but Lamar Jackson's going to get paid. And that number is going to be ridiculous. Joe Burrow is going to get paid really soon. That number is going to be ridiculous. Justin Herbert's going to get paid really soon. That number is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff is going to be sitting there at what, 28 years old? And you're going to have to try to figure out what that value is, because the benefit of these other guys getting paid is that for most of these other guys, or all of these other guys, this is their second contract. For Jared Goff, that's not the case. So I did hear someone, I think it was Jeremy on Pride of Detroit, kind of mentioned this, like, could the Lions find themselves in a situation where you're starting to do like Kirk Cousins type deals, and where like you're giving him like very short contracts, like 3-year deals, but it's fully guaranteed. And I don't know about you, like, I just don't like that. I don't like, it makes me just like uncomfortable. It's like, nah, because ever since the Vikings started doing that with Kirk Cousins, I think it's been harder for them to move on from Kirk Cousins.
Well, but that's been Kirk Cousins' life since Washington. Franchise tag, right? That whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just tricky. You got to get out of it, right? You can't hang in that world. I mean, like, you got to get out of it. So.
So like, I feel like it impacts it in a way where it's like, okay, hey, we like, kind of like you're saying, we were going to address quarterback. We now have to make sure that the guys that we've circled, we get now. And again, that depends, right? Like, I kind of do agree with you in the sense that, like, if it seems pretty evident as of right now, as of today, Bryce Young is probably going 1. Right? He just canceled all of his other visits. So that signals to a lot of people that, like, hey, he knows where he's going. He doesn't need to meet with any other teams. He knows he's probably going 1 or 2. So for the sake of argument, let's say Bryce Young goes 1. There's now rumors circulating that, like, Houston doesn't maybe want to take a quarterback if it's not Bryce Young. So let's say CJ Stroud, let's say it's Will Anderson at 2.
Well, they're saying Houston wants to trade out too.
Or they trade out, right? But I'm going to stick with, like, they stay at 2, and let's say they take Will Anderson. Well, we know like Arizona's not taking a quarterback. So if you're Detroit and you see CJ Stroud is now available at 3, and CJ Stroud was your highest rated quarterback, and you're like, yo, we can go up there and get him. Like, does the Jalen Hurts contract now put you in a situation where you're like, hey, we can get our best rated quarterback? It's going to cost us, like, a little bit to trade up, but our quarterback of the future is set. And there's no pressure to start him because Jared can still play this year and we can still see what he's got, but it at least gives us an out relatively soon. Yeah. Because I think CJ Stroud is actually worth trading up for. I love Anthony Richardson. I love, like, the thought of what he could be. I don't always know if I love the idea of trading up for him, though. I'm perfectly fine taking him if he falls to you.
If he falls at 6, yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that. But I agree. If you're trading up, yes, I agree with you 1,000%. Like,
the gamble,
it's not a gamble, right? It's not, right? Stroud at 3 is not a gamble. That's, if you're moving up to take a surefire thing to replace Goff, that's the play for sure. Jay Pook's with us on this too. I mean, in Twitch, shout out. Like,
True Teller, where he's like saying, like, hey, trade up and go get your quarterback. Like, I think if the quarterback you want is there, go get him.